Hello everyone, and welcome to Willa Dean's Kitchen. And what we're going to be preparing today is some roasted tomato sauce. So I have my prepared pan here that we're going to roast the tomatoes on, and I already sliced the onion because we're going to have onions in our tomato sauce. And over here we have farm fresh tomatoes that I purchased yesterday at the farmer's market. They're nice huge tomatoes. They're big and they're plump and they look very juicy. So we're going to use the tomatoes in there, and we have some garlic cloves that we're going to use. We have some salt and pepper here that we're going to use. It's a salt and pepper blend. I got a half a teaspoon of salt and a half a teaspoon of pepper in here, and of course some olive oil. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to start coring out these tomatoes. So we have to get the core out of the tomatoes. Core right here, we got to get these out of the tomatoes. All right, so we're going to get these cores out. What I have here is basically a melon baller, and I'm just going to see if I can dig this into here like this and just take the core right out of the tomato. So we're going to do this for each one of the tomatoes. Get the core out. We really don't want that in our sauce. Okay, now that I have removed the core from each of the tomatoes, we're going to take a garlic clove and we're going to stick right in here. Stick a garlic clove in each one of these. Alright, so we got a garlic clove in each one. And what we're going to do now is we're going to add the seasoning and the olive oil, and then we're going to get them in the oven. So I have my salt and pepper right here. So we're adding that to the tomatoes. Add some to the onion as well. And then I'm going to drizzle with a little olive oil over everything. And now we're going to place these in a 375-degree oven for 20 minutes. And then we're going to take them out and we're going to continue to prepare the sauce. Okay folks, our tomatoes are out of the oven now, and we're going to let them cool down before we remove the skin, and then we're going to continue making this sauce. Our onion is nice and roasted here as well. It's very soft, so we're off to a good start. Okay, so our tomatoes have cooled down some. So what we're going to do next is we're going to take the skin off of these tomatoes, because the skin, I mean, you can eat it, but it's very unpleasant in the sauce, and most people don't like it. So what I do is I take, and these are actually still a little hot, but you get the skin off, nice, comes off nice and easy after they've been roasted in the oven. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get all of the skin off of these tomatoes, and then I'm going to put the tomatoes in this pot that I have over here, and we're going to kind of cook down the water out of the tomatoes, and then we're going to put them in our blender and make some sauce with it. Okay, so I have removed the skins from the tomatoes, and I've added them to this pot, and we're going to let them cook now to get some of this liquid out. As you can see, tomatoes hold a lot of liquid now. Some people take this tomato water, what we have here, and they make other dishes with it. They might add it to something. They might start a soup with it or something. It has a lot of flavor in it. But we're going to cook it down because I want to keep the flavor in the sauce on this one. And once it's cooked down some, we will get it ready to be blended up. All right, we have moved our tomatoes, our roasted tomatoes, over to the stove. They're in the pot here. They're cooking now. There's a lot of liquid in here, so we're gonna reduce this liquid. We're gonna reduce it down, at least more than half of this liquid we're gonna reduce out, so we'll have a thick sauce. I wanna have a thick tomato sauce, not a kind of loose runny sauce. So this is gonna be cooking for a while. We're gonna let it go, and I'll be checking back on it periodically. I'll stir it and make sure nothing is sticking. And once we're ready to get to the blender, I'll be back. Okay, everyone. The tomatoes, they have been cooking down for about an hour now. And as you can see, they cooked down quite a bit. I mean, they were like way up here, and now they've cooked down. At least half of the liquid has evaporated out, but I still think it's still a little runny, so I'm going to let it go for maybe another half an hour before we get it ready for the blender to make the sauce, and then we'll season it up with our final seasoning touches. All right, our tomatoes have cooked down. The sauce is fairly thick. We're going to let it cool off some, and then we're going to get it into the blender, get it blended up, and we'll have us a nice tomato sauce. And then from this, I'm going to make some other dishes. I'm thinking about an eggplant parmesan dish that I could make with this. You can go in many directions. I mean, you can go Mexican. You can add some cumin, jalapenos, some dried chilies, and some Mexican spices. Go Mexican. You can go Italian, of course, with basil, oregano, and some thyme, and give it a nice Italian flavor. You can use that with your pastas or your pizza. So we're going to be back. We're going to blend this up, and then I'll show you what the finished sauce looks like. Okay, everyone, our tomatoes have cooled off. They have cooked down. We are going to put this in the blender and blend it up. Now, remember, the only thing in this pot is tomatoes, onions, garlic, salt, and pepper. So what we're going to do is we're going to take a little taste. I tasted this earlier, and it's actually sweet. So the tomatoes, the sweetness of the tomatoes have come through in the sauce. Yeah, and I haven't put any sugar in it. And you can still taste that sweetness, and that's what I like. So we're going to get this in the blender and blend it up, and we're going to have some homemade tomato sauce. Okay, so our sauce is blended up here, and it looks very good, nice and saucy. So let's see how much we have here. It's nice and thick. We have a 4-cup container here. So I'm going to get this one to the line. Oops, I spilled a little there. And then we're going to take the second one, see what we have here. Okay, it's about halfway there. So I'm going to go out on a limb here and say we produce 6 cups of sauce today. So I'm going to use this sauce in some recipes. Just want you to see what it looks like here. And the flavor is good. Like I said, it has a little sweetness to it, but we didn't add any sugar. So what we're going to do next is We're going to prepare for some other recipes with this sauce. I hope you enjoyed viewing this video and learning how to make your own homemade tomato sauce. And actually, this is good for you. It's healthy. It's less sodium in it, less chemicals, and it will taste great on any dish that you have to create with using sauce, tomato sauce. Thank you for viewing, and have a great day.